Hey everybody, it's Tara with Healing Adventures, where we inspire, motivate, and activate your truth, your passion, and your mission on this planet. Today I want to talk about vulnerability. Vulnerability has been coming up a lot, not only in my world, but also in just the community around me. And I really believe that vulnerability gives you access to more love, more connection, more truth within yourself, more authenticity. So today we're going to talk about that, the courage to be imperfect through accessing vulnerability. So stay tuned. So I want to talk about today, what do I really want to say? What I really want to say is, I'm just going to speak from my life, as I typically do, because I continually stumble through life and realize, oh my gosh, that was interesting. That was an aha moment, or that was an awakening, or shoot, that was massive. So I want to share about vulnerability today. I have personally been going through a very vulnerable week with a new job, a new relationship, really new ways of being for myself. I just went through a 90-day intensive program with my mentor, and I will tell you, it was, imagine like you see the shell of me now. Well, just imagine there's like a little zzz, like you just crack that shell and peel it open, and whoop, there's another layer of me. So it's amazing, really. But I have felt very vulnerable. And as a result of feeling very vulnerable, I've been speaking what I've been feeling. And as a result of speaking what I've been feeling, the experience of my life has been more profound. And I think that I can honestly and authentically say that I've experienced more connection to people. I've experienced more love to myself. I don't even know why I'm getting moved, maybe because I'm being vulnerable. But I've experienced more connection to life and to loving and to really being aware of just how grateful I am for every single thing I have, but more importantly, every human being that's in my life. Looking at my son newly, looking at my partner newly, looking at my career newly. So I want to talk about vulnerability because I've seen some people in my life recently this week also experiencing a lot of heart opening and a lot of vulnerability with themselves. And I want to ask you, do you have the courage to be imperfect? Do you have the courage to be imperfect? And consider that so often we're walking around with these shells on out of fear of being vulnerable. And really how I see vulnerability, I looked at the definition of vulnerability, and honestly it was atrocious. It was like, it was so doomsday, like, a predator, and you can't protect yourself, and I thought to myself, oh my God, the definition of vulnerability even sucks. It's just so negative. It's so negative. And I started believing for myself and seeing for others the power in vulnerability, and how when you're really raw and really really authentic, and you allow yourself to be exposed, only then can whoever it is you're talking to actually experience a connection with you and feel what it is that you're feeling or wanting to convey or wanting to share. There's something to be said when you allow all of your walls down, when you put the swords down, when you take the mask off, and you ask yourself, who is my authentic truth? What would I be saying to this person or those people that I'm so afraid of saying? And I'm so afraid of saying it for fear of judgment, for fear of not sounding correct. Maybe I'm going to say it wrong. They're going to laugh or ridicule me. Consider that we're all walking around worrying about just that. That person that you want to talk to isn't even worried about what's over there with you, because they're so worried about what they might say, what they're not saying, what you're thinking about them, and la 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 la. That's what they're thinking. And in that moment, when we put our swords down, we take our masks off, we take the armor off, and we just say what's really there, whether it's happy thoughts, lonely thoughts, raging thoughts, whatever it is. But when you step out of that realm of fear or wanting to look good or making it sound right, you just get out there and you just start talking and you say what's really on your mind. There is a whole wall that comes down between ourselves and the other people we're talking to, and we become connected. More importantly, the connection comes from you being connected to yourself in that moment. Like you being raw and authentic and truthful with yourself and speaking your truth in that moment you're connected with you. You're not being anything other than you. And when you're connected with you, only then can we be connected with you. Only then can we feel what you're feeling. Only then can we relate to what you want us to relate to. And maybe we can't relate fully, but we can hear you. We can feel you. We can see you. And that is where the true joy and the love and the beauty of life like erupts and emerges from that connection. And in that connection, the seed was the courage to be vulnerable. The courage to be vulnerable, the courage to be imperfect. It really just doesn't matter. You know, we can worry about what the other person might think about what we say. You know, are you going to be the first one to say, I love you? Are you going to be the first one to take a risk and do something you've never done before? Are you going to be the first one to raise your hand when the teacher or the speaker asks a question? Are you going to be the first one when they say, hey, I got this up here, to the first person who runs up here? Are you going to be the first one out of your chair running up there to get it? Or will you stop yourself because of all of the mental chatter and your fear of being imperfect? I say, fuck your fear. Excuse my language. But stand in the courage of being imperfect. Like stand in the courage, root yourself deep down, and know that no matter who you are, how you are, what you say, that you are worthy, that you are perfect just the way you are. And inside of that, the courage to be imperfect, to be vulnerable, to allow yourself to open up raw and just be authentic and be your truth, I would say from that point on, your life will literally change. It will begin to transform. So I invite you to take that on. Root yourself in the courage to be imperfect. Be vulnerable. Say things you're afraid to say. And just say them because you really want to. And if you cry, you crack a tear, or you're angry, or whatever emotion comes up, own it, breathe it, feel it, love it. Be your truth. So that is what I wanted to share today about vulnerability. You know, from my life, I've been incredibly vulnerable this week. I have said a lot of things in my relationship, in my career. You know, I've said things that, in all honesty, I was really afraid to say, really afraid to speak up and say the truth. But I'll tell you what, I said it anyway, and nothing happened. Let me take that back. Nothing bad happened. Only good came of it. It's as if the more authentic you are, life will show up for you more. The universe will really see your truth and say, hey, they're on the court. They're on the court, they're ready to play. Open that gate of blessings. Open the gate of miracles. They're on the court playing. So get on the court, play, Say something. Be who you are. Tell the person that you want to say I love you to, tell them you love them. Tell the person that you want to go work for, tell them you want to work for them. Apply for the job you think you won't get, and say the things that you know to say, that you're so afraid to say. Say them and watch what happens. Watch what opens up. Because what I know is that when you step up and you start speaking your truth, your authentic, raw, vulnerable self, the world completely shifts and all the things that you've ever desired begin to move with momentum. And people begin to show up in ways that you would have never imagined. And it is all because of who you're being, your truth. So I'll leave you with that. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me where you're not taking on being courageous and being vulnerable, and I invite you to do it. And if you have done that, tell me about it. Like, share with me what happened out of your moment of courage, in your moment of bravery. Because I know each and every one of you has that in you, and I invite you to step out on that, I was going to say limb, but I always see it as like this, you know, it's like the Thelma and Louise, like you're at the Grand Canyon or something, and you're on that ledge, and it's just you, and the world that you desire is just below you, but you've got to take that step and fly, right? Or I don't even want to say it's below you, maybe it's on the other side, but you've got to take that step and trust, know, believe that you've got the wings to fly. I say each and every one of you has the wings to fly. So if there's something you're not saying, if there's something you're not doing, get out of your way, say it, do it, make it happen. Even if it's scary, breathe into the fear. You're going to be fine. Nothing's going to happen. And watch what shifts. So thank you so much for watching today. I always feel so honored to be on here sharing with all of you. And if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share it with your friends, and please come back and see me again. I look forward to speaking with all of you, and have an amazing week. Take care. Bye.